Hey guys, my name is Tim and welcome to a new episode of my food series, Food Brawl.
Food Brawl is a series where we will choose similar types of food, but they are completely different made from several countries. Many of you guys wanted a cake food brawl and here it is. Today I'm fighting the German creamy cheesecake versus the fluffy Japanese cheesecake. Who will come out on top? Both cheesecakes couldn't be more different. One does have a cake edge and the other doesn't. One is creamy and the other is heavenly fluffy. This will be an insanely close race.
I tried to make two delicious cakes and I have to say it wasn't that easy as I thought. Especially the Japanese cake put up a fight and it was really hard to choose.
Because there are two different types of dishes, last week we had two amazing cheese recipes, but now both are really clean and with simple flavors and with two unique textures.
If you want to see if I won this bloody fight, stay tuned. And now guys, the intro. And first of all, I want to show you all the different ingredients.
These are the ingredients for the German cake. You see there are a lot of different ingredients, notably for the filling. It does contain yogurt, heavy cream and quark. A lot of German cheesecakes does have a kinda dry taste. So I personally love to use this combination with yogurt. It's lighter and creamier than a normal German cheesecake. The Japanese cheesecake on the other hand does have only milk and cream cheese as a milk product. So the ingredient selection is much clearer.
Because the Japanese cake doesn't have a cake edge, we will start with the German one. For a classic German cheesecake edge, I will make a shortcrust base. And for this I have to pass some flour through a sieve.
Add natron or baking powder.
As you can see, we use baking powder or baking soda in this cake. But differently, the Japanese cake will only rise through the egg white. It's like in soufflé-like cake.
I love to season this cake with a little bit of vanilla sugar or vanilla paste. Add white granulated sugar, give butter and eggs into the bowl. Combine everything till you get big clumps. Then you have to use your hand and mix until you got a lovely soft dough. Grease your cake pan with some butter. Give your dough into a pan and press it against the tin. Your cake is homemade, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Fill the whole bottom and then the edges. Once your dough is lined, we need to prick the bottom of the pan with a fork.
We do this because while baking it will try to grow. So if it's not pierced, it will puff. And this will take the amount of space that is left for the filling.
Let the cake rest for 20 minutes in the fridge.
So while we wait, I want to tell you a really important change I made with this cake. And this is I don't use any lemon or acidity part. For me it doesn't feel right and so I don't use it in my cake. And guys, when you want to use it, it's totally fine. But please don't use any baking flavor, use the real lemon. Guys, we still have a little bit time. Let us start with the filling.
For this, take a huge container, then give into the bowl unsalted butter with some white sugar, pour in 1 teaspoon vanilla paste and pass 1 package of vanilla powder through the sieve. For last, crack 3 eggs into the mixture and beat until it's very well combined. Then we have to give some classic quark into the bowl along with your yogurt and mix everything again. Preheat your oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's make some half-whipped cream. Start slowly beating it with a whisk, stand mixer or electric beater. The cream rises up to at least 3 times its volume. When the cream starts to thicken, increase the speed. Give the half-wiped heavy cream into the cheesecake cream mix. Whisk everything until it's combined. Take your rested dough edge and fill it up with your delicious cream. Then knock out the air bubbles by smashing the cake tin on your working surface. Your German cheesecake is ready to get into the preheated oven. Bake it for 1 full hour.
Don't remove the cake from the baking pan till it's completely cooled off. Because of the consistency of the cheesecake, it's still soft after baking. I personally think it tastes the best when you let it cool down overnight in the fridge.
It's time for a water bath. Separate 4 large egg yolks from the egg whites.
To beat egg white correctly, let them reach room temperature and then make sure everything is free from grease.
Whisk your cream cheese and then give it into the water bath and mix again. After some time, give fresh butter into the pot and stir the butter till it's melted. It will look like this. Then add the milk and whisk again. Pass flour and cornstarch through a sieve. You will derive a thick paste. Now add 4 or in this case 5 small egg yolks into the mix and keep whisking until it's combined. When everything is nicely mixed, we can start to beat the egg white, season with salt, and when it starts to pick up and gets foamy, you can add some drops of lemon juice. Add the sugar and keep beating. Every 20 seconds give some sugar in it, till it peaks soft form. Add 1/3 of the egg white into 2 parts in the cream cheese mixture. Make sure the mixture is still a little bit warm. Whisk only in one direction. Pour the cream cheese mixture into the bowl with the rest of the egg white. Stir gently until everything is combined. The final mixture should be pretty fluid. Don't overmix it, otherwise your cake won't rise and will look like this. Grease with butter the baking tin, or you can use a baking spray.
I personally prefer the butter or some baking paper around the edges as well.
Place some baking paper in the middle. Pour in the cake mixture, hold a spatula narrow end in between to get rid of the bubbles. And same with this cake, we knock off the air bubbles out by smashing the cake tin onto the working surface. Place the cake pan into a baking sheet and then fill in hot water. It should cover 1/3. Give your cake into the oven and bake at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. You should get a nice golden color.
It does really depend on your oven. So when you have an old one, I would take a higher temperature, and when you have a newer one, I would try to use less heat.
When you get the right color, you have to open the door for 5 to 10 seconds to allow the cake to cool down. Otherwise, it will look like this. Then continue to bake the cake for 1 hour at 110 degrees Celsius or 230 degrees Fahrenheit. I read in recipes that I should add a little bit honey to the warm cake. So I took it out and yeah. This happens. Look at this mess. It totally collapsed and my beautiful cake was ruined.
It was my first cake, so I was kinda relaxed at the moment.
Scheiße. No.
The first one kinda looked perfect, but yeah. My problem was I didn't do anything different and still failed. Many times. I looked through every mistake I could have made, and so I got a really decent result. One of my problems was you have to let a cake in the oven for 30 minutes after baking. But did you guys know what happened?
My oven literally said F you. It's kinda new and it will blast out all the hot air in some seconds. So I tried to cool it down very slowly.
I tried to lower the temperature by 10 degrees Celsius every 3 minutes. And yeah, I got a really nice fluffy cake.
You have to make sure to do everything right in this cake. Don't fold too much, make the perfect beaten egg whites, control the heat, and one thing is also important. Use the right type of baking tin. Mine is 20 centimeters long, but the ideal length for this would be 15 centimeters. So you can get a huge classic Japanese cake.
You have to make sure you don't trip over any of these mistakes. Now let us compare these two dishes.
We see on the German side it's super creamy, especially with the yogurt part. And the lovely shortcrust edge is the perfect part of crumble you need in every dessert. On the other hand, you have the Japanese cake, which is heavenly fluffy and delicate.
In my opinion, the Japanese cake does have a really huge advantage. And this point would be you can combine it better with white cream, strawberries or toppings in general. But now you could say, Tim, I love my German cheesecake with white cream. Yeah, sure, you can eat it, but for me the cake doesn't benefit from it and gets worse. But a Japanese cake does benefit from it and gets to another level. So when I compare both of these cakes, I have to say I feel the German cake is superior and tastes better. And this is only because I think I made the cakes and I'm not the best baker, I'm really not the best baker. And I kind of fucked up the Japanese cake a lot. So when I have to compare both on a general level, I think the Japanese cake does taste better. Also because I think most of the German cheesecakes are not that good as they could be. So if you liked and enjoyed this video or learned something new, it would really help me if you could subscribe to my channel or give me a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments what other dishes are you want to see in the series. This was also requested by some of you guys. Sadly guys, it's time to go and I hope I see you next time in the comments. Bye!